Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how I do my go-to regular makeup because I've had a lot of requests on how I do it, and obviously this is not my public face, so here we go. I'm using Urban Decay foundation in shade 3.0, and I'm applying it with a fluffy It brush from Ulta. It's my favorite. It's better than a flat brush because it doesn't leave it all streaky. I put a little foundation on the back of my hand, and I'm just blending it all over my face. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm gonna go over it with a beauty blender here in a little bit. So you just wanna spread it out and get it a little bit on your neck too, so everything looks even and the skin tone matches. Next we're going to use Urban Decay Naked Concealer. This one is in shade Fair Neutral. You want to go with a shade that's about 2 to 3 shades lighter than your foundation color to really give you that highlight. And I like to use it to contour my face instead of just using it as an under eye concealer. As you can see, you do it in kind of a wing pattern underneath your eye to really lift your face up. Face, not faced. The rest of the lines are just for fun. Just kidding. They serve a purpose. And I'm drawing it underneath my cheekbones. You'll want to look up your face shape to see if this is appropriate for your face. This is what's good for mine. That's a damp beauty blender. I'm just dabbing it on my face, not rubbing it, because you really want to push that into your skin rather than smearing it across. And it's important to have it damp, because if it's not, it won't blend as well. And you really want to push it into those under eye wrinkles if you're pushing 30 like me. My mom always said to use anti-aging skincare at a younger age, and I never listened to her, obviously. Mama knows best. And you just want to blend it really well. And keep that line underneath your cheekbone. This is Tarte translucent powder. I'm just tapping some into the lid to use for baking. You take your beauty blender, dip it in once, and just set your under eye so it doesn't crease throughout the day. I don't really like this translucent powder in particular, but it was kind of expensive, so I'm just going to use it till it's gone. I haven't found one that I love yet. And then my chin gets a little bit greasy, so I'm setting that as well. And then I like to set underneath my cheekbones to make them pop a little bit more, because I have kind of a flat face. So I'm pretending that I have really sharp features. And this is baking, so I put a little bit more on my beauty blender, and I'm just pressing it underneath my eyes. And you don't want to dab it too much, just enough to kind of set on top. This is Anastasia Dip Brow. This is how I make myself have actual eyebrows. As you can see, I have really sparse, thin eyebrows. I like it that way, which sounds weird. I've tried to grow them out, but my natural brow is really ugly and thin. So when I fill it in, it looks like giant caterpillars on my face. So I choose to pluck them down to basically nothing and then fill them in every day because I just like the way that looks. You want to go underneath the brow, do the tail, and use as much product as you can on just that one brush. You don't want to keep dipping it back in because that's going to make it look like you have Sharpie eyebrows. You want to use more product towards the tail and not so much in the inner part. Again, that gives a more natural look, and you just want to do some flicks up to make it look like hairs. So I messed up. A good eyebrow is very important. And then I take concealer and I just clean up the line underneath. I cut out doing the other eyebrow because I assume you know I have 2 of them, so I'm going to be filling in both. These are my 2 favorite brushes from Sephora. The flatter one is a Pro Shadow brush. The other one was the tapered crease brush. This is Tartelette and Bloom, my favorite palette right now. It smells so good. That's why I made that weird smelling face. I'm using the really light shade at the top. I think it was called Charmer. Or maybe that's Charmer. That's the second to the light shade. I really suck at these voiceovers. I have really dark eyelids, so I'm just kind of lightening those up as much as I can. The next I go with the light pink shade in that palette. Don't remember the name of it. And blending that into my brow bone and into the crease. Still using that flat brush. And then my favorite color in the palette is called Rebel. It's a really nice burnt orange color, and it goes with almost every skin tone and eye color. And I'm taking the edge of that flat brush and making kind of a line in my crease. I'm doing it a little tiny bit above the crease because I have kind of a hooded eyelid, and I want it to look like a deeper set eyelid rather than so protruding. And again, you just want to really blend it because I hate seeing not blended eyeshadow. I'm like, no, honey, don't do that. Let me help you. I really struggle with this second eye. It's just not blending like I like it to. That eye always waters, so I have a lot of troubles with it. Oh, girl's got some dance moves. And then I have a little tiny fluffy brush. Don't remember where it's from. Maybe Sephora. Or actually, no, I think that's Ulta. And I took that Rebel and I am putting it underneath my eye. Now I'm using the darker shade right next to Rebel to darken it up a little bit. I didn't like the way that it looked. It didn't look, kind of looked splotty and not so blended. Gotta use that word a lot. You can bring it underneath your eyes too. I just didn't do that. Then I'm going to take a fluffy brush, fluffy face brush that I got from Ulta. Again, I don't remember which one it is. And just brushing off all that baking. The baking helps keep everything stay put all day long. This is NYX Epic Black eyeliner pot. I'm using an angled brush to do my eyeliner. You can use whatever kind of eyeliner you want. This is just my favorite. And this is like the blackest black eyeliner that I've found. I've tried a lot of different kinds, and this is so far my favorite. It's not going on as smooth as I want because it's kind of dried out. So make sure that you're closing your pots really well so they don't dry out. And again, I'm just doing one eye because obviously I have a second eye, so you don't have to watch that part. I don't really know how to do winged eyeliner, so I'm just pretending. Now I'm going to put on my lashes with this fancy little lash thing that my friend Nikki gave me. I use House of Lashes eyelashes. They're my favorite. Right now I'm using Boudoir. I like Iconic for a really dramatic look. And then Featherette is a really good one. And then Boudoir is this one, and I like it. And then I use their black glue to put it on. You just have to be really careful with it because it does not come off. So if you get it on your eyeshadow, you're screwed. And this is Stila Huge mascara. I put it on after I do the lashes so that they kind of stick together. And then I do my lower lashes. And then this is a tiny fluff brush. I'm using banana powder from Ulta. It's the Ulta brand to kind of color up the under eye, because Preston and I found that if you just leave that baking powder on there, when you take pictures, it leaves a really big flash underneath your eye. It's like a big bright white spot, and it looks really weird. So, and then you just put it in all the spots. That was Ben. God, he's annoying. This is Kat Von D Shade of Light. I use this to contour, but you can use any bronzer. It doesn't matter. This is a fluffy angled blush brush from Sephora. Again, Sephora brand. And you're going to go right above that white line that you drew earlier. I'm just showing you how to contour your forehead as well. I don't usually do that because I always wear hats or turbans, so it's unnecessary for me to do that, but you definitely can. And again, you want to go with whatever your face shape is. Some of this doesn't work for people and it does for others, so whatever you want to do. And then underneath my chin to make it look like I have a chiseled jaw. And then this is actually an Anastasia brow brush, but there's no rules in makeup, so I'm using it to contour my nose. And I just get a little bit of that bronzer on my brush and draw a line on my nose, going from the inner corner of my eye just down to the top of the nostril. And then this fluffy brush that I think I got from an Ipsy bag or something. It's a dense eyeshadow brush, basically. And you just want to blend it down a little bit. Don't go under your eye, though, because you want that to stay light and highlighted. And then you want to go into your brow bone. And then you want to go on top of your nostril as well. And they have tutorials on specific noses. And then you go underneath your nose. And I like my nose to look a little turned up because it's not. It's just straight. So then I put a little bit on top of my nose to give a little point at the end of my nose. And then I lighten it up with some banana powder that I used earlier. And then this is my highlighter. It's made by Hourglass. Again, not my favorite, but it was really expensive, so I'm going to use it till it's all gone. I like to highlight the tip of my nose, the bridge of my nose, my cheekbones, above my eyebrows, and the Cupid's bow. This is my favorite blush right now. It's made by Younique. It's sophisticated. It looks really bright, and it's very heavily pigmented, so you just want to like tap it in once, blow the additional stuff off, and then put it on. That brush was from Icing. So you don't have to have super fancy brushes for everything. Some you do, but not everything. And then this is Lip Sense. It's my new obsession. If you haven't used it, it's amazing. It lasts all day. This shade is called First Love. And you put 3 layers on. So this is the first layer. I like to line my lips kind of with it first, just to give it a more defined look. And I have giant lips, so it helps it. And you let it dry in between each layer. And I don't show that throughout the whole video, so the second layer. Kind of messed up there, but I'm just going with it. And the third layer, again, let it dry in between those 2 layers. And then this is my glossy gloss. As you can see, there is product on there and color. That's my fault. It doesn't actually do that. I'm just very impatient, and so I didn't wait long enough for it to dry. And this is my final look. I hope you guys enjoyed.